Okay, folks, let's get this party started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put away the stuff that we were working on this morning. Because I kind of had a change of heart. That doesn't mean I don't want to build this Matador. That just means that I was searching around today on some information on this mantlet, the early mantlet that these Shermans had. And it dawned upon me, I found a really interesting article that listed all that this one guy had created to like super detail this. Actually, it was I was looking for that, and then I looked at the review of this Fujimi Sherman because I'm not really sure about the front of it. The front of it is just kind of weird. It's straight and it's got whatever the heck this is supposed to be on the front. So I just wanted to read a review, and this guy had super detailed this Fujimi Sherman, adding tow hooks and stuff like that on it. And, you know, it's one of those things that now I can't unsee it. So, a couple of things I noticed about it is it should have two antennas on the back. I believe they're of different lengths. So I went ahead and drilled the other antenna post. And it's got here a couple of loops here that should have lifting loops on the side of the turret here. So I drilled those out. And also here on the mantlet. And I made some sprue. I don't know how successful I'm going to be with that. Because I did that on the King Tiger. And I'm going to attempt to bend it into a loop. And I may just replace this little piece of plastic as well that's supposed to be a loop. But it kind of isn't. So let me make sure that these loops are turning out okay. We're going to try it back here. And if we can get them come out successfully, then we'll go ahead and scrape that off and put a real loop there. But, you know, this is, I was reading this guy's review of this tank model, and he had built the Airfix ones as well. And he said the problem with the Airfix turret, as many people know, it's too small. But this one also doesn't look right because the sides are too vertical, and like the shape of the other one is okay. It's just more of an angle on the inside. This is more vertical on the outside. So, you know, at some point you got to be happy with what you have. But this is a relatively this should be relatively easy to do. I've done it before, and I made some sprue here, and we don't need that much of it. I'm going to cut off a little piece here. Longer than it needs to be. One guy was using brass rod. I'm like, I don't need to buy brass rod, man. They got something else. Some people are just looking for reasons to spend money on shit. And if I'm not happy with this, I guess I'll do that. But let's try doing this with sprue because I've done it before. You know, the main thing is I want to use this. I want to use this to glue it, not super glue and such. The stuff that I got recently to tie the cable, to tie the things together. Where in the hell did I put it? That's the story of my life. Where the hell did you put it? That's too big. This would have been perfect. These literally are brass, but they're too thick. This is where they should be. I remember a while ago I was looking for all the extra tubes that I had. Here's all the extra tubes that I have. Ah, you're back. Need to have a sidekick called Eek! You know? That's cool, man. Thanks for coming back. Oh, man. Let me see if it's over on this side. I'm pretty orderly, but apparently not orderly enough. Orderly than most. But still. I'm throwing this away. I'm throwing that away. That's a little plug that goes on the side of the chair. That cheap ass chair works itself out of it. Well, what could it be? Well, we found this. No. No. Just used it the other day. No, it's not where it should have been. No, I'll give up. I'll just give up and do it with screw like I did it before. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be there. No. I don't know where the hell it is. It's relatively large. Like, it's a relatively large thing. Should be easy to find. It's like a spool of fucking wire that's kind of all over the place. Oh well, shit happens. Calls for a drink. Try to avoid Mandingo War's temptation. You or me? You don't want to see any of it? Well, I think the way to do it'd be to get an aircraft. I actually looked to see if somebody made those decals. There's a set of decals that this company called Zolt or something like that makes, but I think they're out of business. That's just another reason to do jungle terrain. Like, you know, okay, so I can build jungle terrain. All right, what can I use as jungle terrain? The Pacific and Imaginations. You know, I'm not really dying to wargame the Imaginations, but I might be be tempted to buy an aircraft for them. Yeah, I got a piece of paper. It's a yellow piece of. That's not what I'm looking for. But I have a yellow piece of paper where I wrote down like my brainstorm of all of the factions that I came up with for it, and that was just on the fly, and I was having way too much fun doing that. But I'm trying to find out where the hell my where the wire went. Fucking dowel that I bought for, what was that? Shipwreck? Yeah, I'm never gonna play that. Alright, let's be a little bit more thorough. No, what the fuck is this doing here? You know, if I was gonna work on the Mandingo War stuff, I'd take something like this guy. And repaint it, or redo it, or blackline it and stuff. Is it loose? Yeah, it's one of them. Actually, yeah, lettering on it's not too bad. I'd do a better job now, but I just don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it could have gone. It's not that big. I mean, it's pretty big to be able to lose it. Fuck it. It's somewhere. It's somewhere it shouldn't have been. It should be in here. Inside this thing. It wouldn't be here, would it? Nope. Get an M5 Freedom Fighter. What the hell's an M5 Freedom Fighter? If I had an aircraft for the main faction, it would have to be like an A4 or a de Havilland Vampire or a Hunter, something like that. But I don't want to do it without access to those roundels. Now that I saw them, I'm like, I'm not doing any of that stuff without the roundels. Because they're a Western... And really, of all the factions, the main country is the least bad guys of them all. He's just like a dictator, But some people are like dictators and they're communists, so they'll like tell you that they're fighting for you, but they're really not. Just flat out lie to your face. I don't know where the hell. I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know where the hell it is. Well, let's pretend I found it and it was too fucking big, which is likely. Actually, I'll check that right now. I will take the T-34 that is all falling apart. God, it might not have been. Son of a bitch! Oh my gosh. I hate that. And I'm pretty fucking organized. I'm very organized compared to some of you. I've seen the work areas that some people have, and they drive me to an insane asylum. They'd make me have to build an insane asylum just for myself and name it after me. It should be here. This is what it should be, and it's not here. Not there. Not there. It's relatively thick, so. No, it's not there. Which means it's not in the work area that it should be in. Alright. Is there a leftover piece floating around here somewhere? I don't need very much. just took the wind out of my sails. That really just took the wind out of my sails. It's got to be in here. There's nowhere else it could be. No. Nope. 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 Well, I found a couple stands that shouldn't be in here. Here's the thread. Not quite. Nope. Not here. Not here. I still haven't put the grenade hoops on the top of the 234-1s that are down there. I was scared of doing it. Now I'm probably not scared to do it. I'll probably handle it now. Let's not hide those. I would like to, when I go to prime, I'd like to prime those two Japanese vehicles too. Okay, this is junk pieces of tanks. These are my needles, also known as DVA spears. Oh! Had a pair of 50 cals that somebody gave me. I didn't know where they were. I found them. Heh. Look for A, you find Q. Well, I mean, that's just really, really big. Well, I've officially given up on it. I don't know where the hell it is. Oh, let's see if we can make sprue work. If not, we'll go on to something else. Oh, we found this. Pair of 30 cals. Oh, they're 30 cals. Well, that's no good. Not that's not no good, but that's not what I was looking for. Here's the two Japanese vehicles that are basically a piece of shit. Your favorite plane, World War II, is a P-51. Why? Would you and Mitch do a watch along of Kelly's Heroes? Yes, I don't know how to do that though. Totally. Any opportunity that I can do to give color commentary, absolutely. And I think I'm actually more open-minded to watching it than him. If you saw his reaction last night, he wasn't too keen on it. You know, I'm just going to fast forward the intro music, which is god-awfully ridiculous. And then I can get back to, I like all the actors that are in it, I think. I think I like all the actors that are in it. I don't know what kind of sprue this is, but that's weird. All right, let's see if we can get another piece that behaves a little bit better. I mean, of all the actors that are there, probably the one that I like the least is... Well, I don't remember everybody that's in them. I'm not a huge Donald Sutherland fan. I'm not a huge Donald Sutherland fan, but I freaking, I like whatchamacallit, the insult comedian. Although I don't think he's very insulting in that movie. Don Rickles. I don't think Don Rickles is very insulting in it. It's just not cutting it. It's just breaking apart. What if we did... I'm not going to give up easily. Just a little too big. This stuff is useless to me. So you can't use it for spears, it's too bendy. Can't use it for this, it's not bendy enough and not small enough. Damn. I got half a mind to go run to the store. They close at fucking 8 though. I don't want to be rushed going to that store. Well, damn it, man. Yeah, I don't know how to do a watch along. It's just too damn brittle. Here goes everything. It goes all the way through, right? Perfect. So I could do like the tiger. Push it in as far as I need to. And then weld in position. All right. It seems like we're on the winning team. Gotcha. M5 Freedom Fighter. What the hell is an M5 Freedom Fighter? I'm gonna look that up right now. An A4 would be another thing to use. But an A4 just screams America. It's funny, I was like, okay, so what plane did the A4 replace? The Sky Raider. I had no idea. I'm like, wow, the A4 is pretty advanced for when it came out. It came out like in the 50s or something like that. That's pretty, I think. That's a pretty advanced plane. Pretty advanced looking. M5 Freedom Fighter. Oh, you mean an F5? Nah, it's too modern. It's too modern. That's one of my favorite looking planes. It's a good. It looks too modern. It looks too modern. Yeah, an F5 that's a beautiful aircraft. I don't know if it's worth a damn. It's a beautiful aircraft. De Havilland Vampire, I think, is one of those things. That thing with a split tail. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Except they'd be camouflaged. But I gotta find those roundels before I do anything with it. I don't want to hand paint roundels. That's a bit sadistic. Let's cut these down to size because there's not a lot of space underneath where these are going. Well, try again. Too brittle. If I'd known that, I would have just gone straight to the store. But I might have made it and then been like, okay, we're closing now. Like, no. I'm not rushed on my free time, on my own time. Shooting Star, Vampire, Hunter. Hunter, yeah, the Hunter was the other one. Shooting Star. F-86, those are ugly as shit. I wouldn't wish those upon anybody. But it's mainly just to have as a ground target. See, I have to cut this down because there's nowhere for this to go underneath. So I got to cut it down like here. I may not be able to make this work. I may have to wait until... God bless it. Well, I shouldn't have drilled this thing out if I was going to... Not going to be able to complete it. Let's remove this. God bless it. I found another one. They're trying to get a turtle back in its shell. Huh? We're not doing this. We're not doing this. And we're not doing this either. They're all going to have the same loop. Pull them out. We're not doing that. Bye-bye, sprue. We tried way too many times. Man, I keep this up, it'll be like time to go to work in a moment. Definitely can't make it now. Okay, well, so much for that. I'm going to go ahead and drill this other Sherman in. At least, so we'll do that tomorrow evening. Today was my late night, so I should be able to get back tomorrow earlier. Shit happens, folks. One of those Broncos wouldn't be bad either. OV10 Broncos. Wait, don't give me ideas if you don't want me to get into it. You know, I'm not going to go search it. I'll find it. That M8 armored car I had was for the MR. That was an MR vehicle. That was a legit one of their vehicles. You know, we need to put some putty on this stuff anyway, so it's all right. It's all good. It'll be good. So apparently this is a Nito model. Because many of the Fujimi things are ex-Nitos. That's what this supposedly is. One of my favorite vehicles growing up was a Salad armored car. I always thought it looked really good. But M41 Walker Bulldog would be perfect for them. So, I may pull the trigger on something, I may not. We'll find out how good my powers of restraint are. They're usually pretty good. But in my Amazon shopping cart, I have 4 different sets. I was going to say tropical trees, but no, they're all palm trees. I have 4 different sets from 4 different manufacturers. Yeah, they're all made in the same damn neighborhood in China, I'm sure. And I was going to order all 4 of them, because Amazon you can return things for free, and then do a review of all of them. Of course, the problem might be they might all work. But if I wasn't in the middle of my Shermans, I'd say that's something I'd be more likely to do. Okay, this thing's drilled out. We need this antenna drilled out, and of course the damn 50 caliber's in the way. Because this guy decided to drill it. Glue it in its way. Oh, this is interesting. If this breaks off, what happens? Nothing. Okay. I thought it was going to just fall apart. What am I looking at? There's all kinds of caked on glue. Okay, that came off. That's a step in the right direction. Airfix did Saladin and Saracens on 176s. But they don't currently make them anymore. Both of those would be legit vehicles. They're both cool vehicles. I remember I had some die-cast. Hell, they're either a Matchbox or Hot Wheels. Imagine, let's see if I can describe this correctly, an M113 with a little door that falls in the back. But on the top of the M113, it has the turret that's on a Saladin. So it has a 76 millimeters gun on the top of it. And I want to say the Australians use those. I don't know why, but I feel like the Australians use those. And I had a couple of them die-cast a long time ago. And they're probably not the right scale. I mean, they're relatively small. They're probably close to HO scale, if anything. Got all this paint that's caked on here. See if we can't no. Okay. Let's just there we go. We got at least a little bit of a gap now, as it's closed up in the back and opened up in the front. Is RH Models out of business, though? They may be out of business. That's where all my figures are. RH Models. They're kind of like Britannia. They got a goofy look. Okay, so this thing's drilled out. Well, you know the other thing is now I gotta drill out these other Shermans. Because these armor fast things, if anything, they can definitely use some detail. Damn, it means I'm not going to be able to prime them, son of a bitch. Well, I could. And then just drill out and put the things afterwards, but... Old JB Models kit. Airfix did those too. I converted 2 M113s. Yeah, mine was just die-cast. I don't know who the hell it made. I don't know who the hell made it. It was small, though. I want to say it wasn't much bigger than this. Although, you know, memory and all that. You know. Let's go up one. Draw up the antenna. Might as well do that on these. That way we can at least prime these guys at the same time. Let's put a little bit of a divot here so this thing doesn't move on us. Only thing I'm not going to drill out is die-cast vehicles. That is hazardous to your health. That's a good way to lose a finger. It's not worth it. I've tried being careful. It's not worth it. Okay, those are drilled out. Let's go ahead and put the little, the spittoons, I almost said. The little hatches that these don't have any glimpse of interest in having them. I think this is the first model that Armorfast made. Because I honestly don't think that badly of Armorfast. I got those Panzer IVs, the 4Ds that I added a bunch of details to, that I think I was pretty happy with. I was happy with them at the time. I don't know if I look at them now, I'm like, such an amateur. I could have done better than that. Now, we got to make sure this is a new blade. I'd like to keep my favorite. Who is it? Barnes? It always cuts himself. Let me see if I can join the Barnes Club today. See if I can find myself in a hospital bed next to Barnes. Got to use a sharp blade because I don't want to put a lot of horsepower behind this. And then lose control of it. It's like overthrowing a frisbee. Overpowering a frisbee. You want it to go that way, you end up going at 9 o'clock. Or that's just me that sucks at throwing frisbees. Main thing is we got to get this going in the right direction. And then we can put it up against something. Let's say something like this. And then get our finger the hell off of it. And we'll do the same thing at the top here. The screen stuff material is really cool. I really like it. It's very rubber-like. I think that looks good enough for me. Let's go ahead and cut this down to the right thickness. Let's see. Let's start in the thinnest area. Get it going the right way. It's not like I can't make more of these, but man, I don't want to lose my momentum. Don't they make a Venom? Isn't there a Venom plane? Isn't it like a de Havilland Venom? Why am I thinking that's what that is? That there's such a thing. De Havilland? Yeah. Oh, that's really cool looking. That's a cool freaking plane. Why can't you guys make your own freaking planes instead of like, we'll take an F-35 too? They look boring. That's a cool plane, man. It's got to be something that they exported, though. What's the difference between a de Havilland Venom and a Vampire? Venom was the development of the de Havilland Vampire. It was fitted with a larger engine and thinner wing than a Vampire, although some of its wooden construction remained. What a cool plane. The Venezuelans got him? And the engine in it was a Goblin. That'd be a good name for a plane. That looks like it'd be a Goblin. That's super cool. That's super cool. Yeah, something like that. You know? But I gotta get those roundels. Yeah, you can't sand this stuff down because there's nowhere to hold it while you sand it down. Okay, I think we got those two where we want them. Where'd the other one go? Of course, one's more squat than the other, whatever. Let's use the green super glue. Yeah, this kid was furious at this thing. Broke this thing. So now we got that little bit of detail there. I know that we're going to drill these two things here. Let's go ahead and mark them. We'll put one there. Yeah, the store closes so damn early. They used to close at 9, but you know, COVID, you know, and they just, well, we're just going to be shitty like we didn't used to be before. So 8 o'clock, boom, they're closed. Guess I could have gone to Michael's. They close at 9. Did I buy it at Michael's? I might have bought it at Michael's. Shit, I may just do that. Yeah, I don't want to do this without having a locator hole so this thing doesn't slip on me. Of course, I don't remember what gauge I was using either. Like, geez, I had all that stuff written down. I want to say I got 26 gauge. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? I could have gone to Michael's. What a dumbass. It's Dumas. Nope. Not today, it's not. Yeah, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like fighting all that traffic. All right, we got that drilled out. Now, this needs to have the machine gun drilled out. The port for the MG. Oh, there is an MG in there. We'll put in a proper one. All right. Good evening, and very late evening for some. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Marcus. I decided to go crazy and start drilling out little loopholes for my Shermans. Hey, what can I say? I like them. I saw an article, and then I'm like, oh man! And then the I can't find my wire, the wire that I was using to do all the, what do you call it? Now, I'm doing all this detailing because they're plastic. If they were resin, F that. I don't have time for that. It's going to just crumble and fall apart. So that's why, the plastic, or even white metal, like the plastic vehicles are great for that. Yeah, I don't know where the hell the wire went. Man, I looked everywhere. I don't know where the hell the wire went. And I have lots of it left. It wouldn't be in the garage. Why would it be in the garage? Let me go out there. Let me go out there and look. I'll be right back. No, it's not here. But I did find some stuff. I don't know. Jeffrey's still on? I don't know if Jeffrey's still on. I did find these Jeeps though that I was using for that modern Africa stuff, and also have some pieces, parts I need to put away. But yeah, I can't finish the loops now. I can't finish the damn loops because I needed the sprue didn't work. The sprue just didn't work for me. It worked on the King Tiger. It didn't work on this. So I'm like, oh, the guy in the article actually had done and made a I'm gonna go ahead and drill out the machine guns too. Had gone and made a made them with wire, and I'm like, oh shit, I could use wire. Can't find it. Got tons of it left. And I'm pretty orderly. I mean, I can see if it's like at Mitch's place. Yeah, I would never freaking find it again. I have a hard time finding myself there. All right. So we got that. Let's go ahead and drill out the wherever the loops are going to be on the M34A M34A1 mantlet. He seems to have a decent amount. He has too many things, and he doesn't build any of them. He's just a buyer. He's just a buyer. He just buys shit. No. I can't finish building this, by the way. It's missing a mantlet and a gun. But I want to make sure that that's all it's missing, because maybe I can come across one at the show. I need to take a look at that before I get to the show. So I need to start being proactive. I only got a week and a few days for it. He's like, hey, we're doing a game on Saturday. Which Saturday? The Saturday of my show. I said, nope, can't come. I'll be at the show. Sorry. Planning isn't a 4-letter word, folks. Okay, all right. Well, we'll go back to the other Sherman book. Should be this one. But it's not. They're right next to each other. It may just have the one in the center, which that would be grand if that's the case. It might have two of them that are like behind that mantlet. You can't really see them. I wanted to prime these things. I guess I'll just have to wait. Just has one. Just has one in the center. Okay. Is this the show where you're going to show and tell your World War II aircraft? I'm not following you. I'm talking about going to a model show. A model show, yeah, I'm not entering it. It's like a competition thing, but they have vendors. They have vendors with old stock. And that's what I'm going for. Somebody's unloved stuff that's yesterday's toys. Like, oh, that's an old model. I'm like, well, I'll buy that for a couple bucks. They don't have a lot of things that are $2. That's kind of the exception. But they have a lot of things that are $5. There's a good chunk of things that are $5. Here, we'll put a little loop there. And that'll add a little bit of extra detail to this somewhat bland Sherman. Yeah, the model people are like, man, you should enter competitions. I'm like, I'm not interested. Make me. Okay, did that. We got the 2 loops here. We got the 1 loop there. We got the other loop there. This thing should be good to go. Now I'm going to check and make sure there's not a stereoscopic sight or something like that on that side, and there may be. Looks like there's a hole kind of high up, higher than the MG on the opposite side. I love these squadron books, man. These type of drawings, there's like nothing better than that. It's like the perfect balance of like detail and not too much drama. That's exactly where it is. It's like over here. It's like these aren't bad models, but man, every opportunity you can do to give them a little bit more detail, it'll be beneficial. Now, this is the one that I glued this, and it could stand to be thinner. So it could fit a little bit better on there. This is the replacement mount that I made out of green stuff. Let's see if we can't work our magic. Painting Panzers, good morning, more Shermans. Yes. This is the show where I found the combat miniatures. Yes. Yes, I did. And actually, that vendor is a repeat offender. I thought he was just at the Jacksonville show, but he was at that Tampa show also. So I expect to find him there. I'm going to go to him first. Normally, I like to scan everything and make sure that nobody that what my options are, because I don't need anything. But it's like for $4, I'll buy that for $4. And yeah, so that's but Japanese vehicles really are my priority, but only if they're like really cheap, because otherwise I just get them from Chad. I don't. But what I was talking about making the fake Japanese island is, and here's a perfect example. If you go and say you find a Japanese model of, say, like a Teikei, right? I think that's how you say it. Little Japanese kind of tankette looking thing. Super cute. You don't have to worry about, well, I don't know, they didn't use those in Burma, or they didn't use them on, Saipan, or they didn't use them, you could just be like, well, in this place they use them. And like I said, the perfect example is, I want to do Marines, but I don't want to do Tarawa, Saipan, or Pelew, or any of those where it's like, here's a rock that's this big, and it's covered with Marines, and naval gunfire, and tanks, and Amtraks, and there's like guys sitting in little holes, like, it's too one-sided. You lucky guy. We don't get any of those shows here in Western Australia. Jeffrey, which is one of my regulars, said that that's the part of Australia where all the good people are at. I don't know what that means. Maybe the prison colony was on the other side. I've only encountered one Australian I didn't like. Generally, and it's not you. Generally, you guys are pretty good. But, it's like I said, there's buttholes everywhere. It's like if you go to New York and go, man, all Americans are terrible. No offense, Marcus, but you're not from there. New York isn't America, okay? Yeah, he's got local access to Simon's soldiers. Yeah. Yeah, for now. Although, it seems like it's his website that's closing, but the way he words it always sounds kind of like, I don't care if his website closes. I mean, I just don't want to buy stuff just to buy stuff, because it doesn't feel good. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm able to remove this. Well, I may just have to move forward with how I had this made, with this mantlet that I didn't have. I lost it in a move. One of the moves, I lost this mantlet. It's amazing how many things I didn't lose, because this stuff sat for years unused. And, my buddy was saying, oh, you're never going to paint your 20s again. I said, well, joke's on you. Now I may never do another DBA Army. I may not do 15 millimeter Ancients again. I only did it for 18 freaking years. Like, it's time to go back to the real war here. I'm not Australian though. Well, kind of. Simon's a bit up and down with what he's doing, which is annoying. We do have access to AB figures, though. Yeah. They're from Australia, right? I think they are. See, 20 years ago, AB figures did make World War II stuff, but they didn't have a lot of variety. They made like Germans. I think they had Americans. Like, they didn't have any Russians. British, of course. I'm not sure if they had North Africa stuff. But I left World War II for 20 years. As a matter of fact, I remember when I got into DBA, I left World War II. I just bought the battlefield miniatures that had come out for Stalingrad. They'd come out with Stalingrad Germans and Stalingrad Russians. Well, I already had Russians, I already had Germans, but they're really character driven, almost like the combat miniatures. So I'm like, oh, I got to get these. So I come back and I'm like, Battlefield's out of business and their molds went to hell and nobody has them. And it's like, oh my God, I got like these relics and I just bought one pack of everything that I wanted of the Germans and the Russians. So I'm like, man, I got to be careful with these things. These aren't available anymore. Because it never occurred to me that the mold could have gone kaput. But I guess it has been like 20 freaking years. But I got all those to paint. Let's not mess this up, Tony. You have to make another one. I think we'll see a difference now. Yeah, it's a little better. That's a little better. Needs to get further in there. Needs to get further in there. I wonder. Time to do some surgery. I wonder if I'm doing this. You're not going to be able to see it. We can get that middle part of that to go in deeper. And Armor Fast and Plastic Soldier Company are the two best plastics that I've found to make this kind of modifications, because they almost slice off like butter. There you go. I mean, we're going to glue this anyways. I think it's this is what we need to do. I think we'll leave it at this before we end up taking the task too far. I'm going to use the super glue that stays put, not the green one. Holy smokes. That was a fresh one. Man, I love doing these Shermans though. Because this, and most of it is like people are like, Shermans, who cares about them? I'm like, okay, well, if you have that attitude and you don't put any love into them, yeah, you. But this is a rescue. This is the one that I got this from somebody. He basically just gave it to me, and it looked like some kid had taken a screwdriver, like, I wonder what's inside, because it's literally like, it's like bashed in there, and it had like a dent in the roof. Literally. Some destructive child. Nick is... So, Eureka would show up at Historicon, but he wouldn't bring any 20 millimeter stuff. He'd bring, like all the 28 millimeter stuff and like teddy bears with, big teddy bears, and he'd have them cool frogs, right? The 28 millimeter frogs are right on top of like turtles, but I don't do any of that stuff. So I don't do 28 millimeter things. Armor Fast and PSC size up the same? Yes. Armor Fast is definitely 1/72nd. Yeah. Let me show you. This is an Armor Fast 1/72nd scale Sherman. And then here is a Fujimi / Nito 1/76th. And here's the Airfix one. The Airfix one and this one are almost the exact same size. Plastic Soldier Company M4A1 76 wet stowage. Definitely bigger. And if you want to see something that's massive, this huge bastard is a dinky Matchbox M4A3 76 not Easy 8. This thing is, if this falls on your foot, it's Quaintance for you. But yeah, the Armor Fast stuff is definitely 1/72nd scale. Where's my Panzer IVs? My Panzer 4Ds, they're back here in the corner. We doctored these things up. Do you have a standard Panzer IV? Yeah, the one from Hasegawa. Hey, Hasegawa. Hasegawa's a 1/72nd. And this is a huge gripe. Yeah, this is the Armor Fast Panzer 4D that we added all kinds of extra stuff to it that made it look reasonable. All right, so here's my gripe. German tanks that have those the side vision flaps, right? So like basically every Panzer IV up to the F2, if you put the numbers on the side of the turrets, you have to basically hand paint them, because if you don't hand paint them, the number that's in them that's going over all of the stuff is significantly smaller, because you're going over all that stuff. So the distance it has to travel over is significantly more. So that 3 looks like a shrunken 3. I don't know if that's coming out okay. Well, I don't know how people do it. Well, first of all, I don't really like how it looks to begin with, because it looks disheveled. But you put a decal that's straight across, that 3 has a much larger distance to travel, because it's got to go up and over that flap. It's going to shrink it. What would you both recommend the best 1/72nd scale vehicle kits? I know Vespid and Dragon are really nice, but they take an age to build. I like Plastic Soldier Company. They just don't make everything, and they're hard to find stuff for, but I use everybody. And I've got hundreds of them finished. And that's just in 2 years. I have hundreds of these things finished. And I can tell you that when I have this many, my big motivator is, this is for $6. I'll buy that. S model are great, but they don't make everything. So honestly, the best things out there, it's those 3D prints by whatchamacallit, by Chad. But I don't mind building things, but Chad's stuff is incredible. I mean, and this is that French designer and him printing it. There's nothing that looks as good as that. There's no models, anything that looks as good as. This is Ron Coutre for Coulon Models. Yeah, Chad Watt. See, he's in the U.S. and he prints stuff, so he has access to his stuff. The name of his company is called Iron Horse Collectibles, but there's probably somebody in Australia that can print them for you, and that way you don't get gang raped by the shipping. But that's the best stuff out there. I mean, it's unbelievable how good it is. But sometimes I find a deal on stuff. Like, for instance, there's one guy that was selling these at a convention, these T-35s. Let me not grab this one. These T-35s that are actually HO scale. Now, T-35 is a massive vehicle. So I'm like, he was selling these for $1. So, okay, sure, it's the wrong scale, but it's a mighty big vehicle and it still looks huge. So, that's an opportunity. I can have fun with them and only spend $1 or not. I mean, they're bigger than a JS2. So at some point, they're just, they're war game models. But I like Plastic Soldier Company a lot, but, they don't make everything. Because they're balanced between affordability and they're pretty durable. Their weapons and stuff are a little larger, so they're less likely to break. But, Dragon stuff is very accurate to scale. But they're also very expensive. I'm basically, so here in the United States, nobody does 20 millimeter. Marcus and I, and that's about it. Maybe one other guy does 20 millimeter. Nobody does them. So when I show up at a show, I deal with people like, man, please take this stuff off my hands because nobody builds it. Everybody's either doing 15s or 28s. Everybody. And so if I find something that I want, it's usually at a really good price. You'll check them out. Marcus have some things coming from Mardav that look awesome. I think they use Night Sky's models, right? Night Sky is this. This is one of Night Sky's models, this BT7. This BT7 as well. We gotta turn this shit around. The lighting's great for me, not exactly great for filming. This is a Night Sky. And I'm really bad at getting things in focus. I don't think I can get closer than that. That's a night sky, printed by Chad. It really could be printed by anybody, but his resin is almost, it's not very brittle, so it's got a little bit of a give to it. You know, you get his tracks and they actually have some bounce to them. So, yeah, I got so many vehicles. I went to a show and this guy was running an estate sale. Two guys had passed away, and the one guy had like 40 T34s, all from Skytrex. They're not the best. They're not the best detail, but I got them for like $4 a piece. I'm like, all right, I'll take them all. Because when am I going to get that opportunity to buy them for $4 a piece? I'm not. So it's like, you know, you got to make hay while the sun still shines. So that's kind of what's driven my collection, is just going to town, you know, on stuff like that. Mardav, yeah. Yeah, I don't know who you... I'm sure you have somebody in Australia that'll print that stuff. You know, that's the whole thing, is you don't want to spend all the money on shipping. It'll cost a fortune. I always wanted to get that stuff. Who's the guy in Britain, Marcus, that we can't get stuff from because he's too expensive? War Game 3D or something like that. It's some beautiful things, but the shipping is just like, you gotta take out a mortgage. Coulon, I agree, blows them away. You get a bunch of extras and stuff, you know? And now he's cranking stuff out. Because for the longest time, he was like, he just had his Shermans and his French tanks. And I don't have anything against the French tanks, but I just haven't gotten into France yet. It'll happen eventually, you know? I can only put off, you know, playing cards and little hearts on the side of... I can only put off getting things with playing cards for so long. But for me, when I go to these shows, I'm definitely driven by price. Like, I wanted to get a plane to do one of these. So I've never done a wreck before. And this is, you know, to have on the ground, and you go, it's, what do they call it? Scatter terrain, you know, for the desert. And I'm like, well, I've never built something like this before, so I don't want to spend a lot of money in case I'm not happy with it. $4, I'll take one, you know. And I had a lot of fun with it. You know, but I don't want to spend like $30 and wonder if it's going to turn out okay. You know. The only people that are as good as the Coulon stuff is Cromwell. And Cromwell's out of business. And Cromwell's also 176th. You know. But I showed my models to Ron at Coulon, and he's got his stuff made for 156th, and he couldn't believe how good Chad was printing his stuff in 20 mil. I'm like, because I'm not doing 28 millimeter. I'm not like painting Panzers that does everything. I can't do that. I don't feel like I get enough done as it is. I mean, I got a lot done, but I got a lot more to do. His new studs, yeah, they look amazing. You got to pace myself. Your wife will kill you. Yep. That could happen. Yeah, I only have 3 Stugs. And so what ends up happening is I've got a lot of different manufacturers. And it's happened because, you know, a long time ago, you go to a store. What do they have? Well, they've got a Panzer 4H. Well, I already got 3 of them, but this is here, and I don't want to mail order it, so you pick it up. So you end up picking up not exactly what you want, but what is available. Now we have access to a lot more things than we did 20 years ago. You know, but still, I've got a Stug that was from an unknown manufacturer. I've got one that's a Fujimi one. I've got one that I think is an FAA one, and they're all like mismatched size-wise, and that's okay. They all get used together, you know? You want to chat in Australia? I'm sure they have one. So how I found Chad was I contacted Coulon Models and I say, hey, listen, I'm in the U.S. Who do you have that prints for you? And I guarantee he's got somebody who's in cahoots with Kulan that that makes stuff there. Because I know you're into the Burma theater, and he's got like all the Lees. Kulan makes all of the Lees and all the versions with those counterweights on the end of the barrels and all that kind of stuff. And you could print them in different scales. I mean, he'll print, yeah, you could. I guess you could do them in 15 millimeter too. So yeah, I got to pump them out because otherwise this is my stress relief for work. Otherwise, I have to drink to calm down from work. So this is a lot healthier. It's also a lot cheaper. You don't get a hangover with this. All right, so we have added the loops on here. We're going to super detail, not super detail, but we're going to add some detail. So, and of course, freaking nicknames, man. That's what it's all about. Nicknames on these jokers. I was a little disappointed that I wasn't going to make these Commonwealth. But the book I'm reading right now on Sicily, I didn't realize Sicily was only 3 weeks. I'm like, well, that's not worth doing. Did you know that, Marcus? Sicily's only like 3 weeks long. I'm like, holy cow. It's like, that's hardly anything going on. So I've got to get some wire in the morning. The sprue didn't work for me. I'm going to get some wire and make those little belt loops. The little hoops. Belt loops, little hoops. And what else are we going to go? I guess, since we're on the Sherman theme, let's open up this that I basically got for free and see what it is that I need to get to complete this. Now, I need to take this out of this box because this is toxic. I got these models from somebody who had this stuff in an attic, and all of this paper has released, I'm going to call it carcinogens, but I lost my sense of smell. I had like an allergic reaction, and I'm not allergic to stuff, but I had an allergic reaction to it, and it was the paper. It was the paper in the boxes. So now I know this Hasegawa kit is bigger than anything. It's like 1/72nd scale. 1/70th scale. But I'm going to build it anyways and see what it is that I need to manufacture to complete it. And I believe it's the mantlet and the gun barrel. But I basically got this free. Somebody was giving it away. Yeah, like all these Shermans, I think the most expensive one I purchased was the Airfix ones I got for $2 a piece. This one I had already from way back when. This one I got free because it was basically broken. This one was basically free and a rescue. This one was, I don't know, I paid for maybe $4 for this thing. But then like the tracks were broken and they were brittle, so I hot glue gunned them, and all that's going to all resolve itself. We'll put goop on there, and you won't be able, even be able to tell. All right, I gotta go get some tea, and I'll be right back. You've really sold me. You know how much Chad reduces the 28mm file? I don't know. I don't know. But I was concerned that he wouldn't get it right, but it matches all the other 72nd scale stuff. You could just do some math. You could just take 1/72nd and divide it by 1/56th or whatever. 73% or something like that. I'd do some math, but it's starting to be nightfall. I don't do math well in the dark. I'm tired using the brain. All right, so what do you do when you want to build this and the instructions are not usable? You go to ScaleMates. You go to ScaleMates, and you should be able to go to ScaleMates on the fly completely. So just do ScaleMates, Hasegawa, M4A3 Sherman. Should be able to get it immediately. No, this is a modification to it. That's the kit. Okay, so then we go down here and look at download. And here's the instructions. So I don't deal with those toxic things. So I think that's what I'm doing is I'm actually missing this mantlet and I'm missing the gun. So I'm going to try to put, I don't know why I'm missing those things. It was an open kit. Yeah, I bought it from somebody, you know, there's stuff missing right there. Not included. So let's put this thing together and see what it is that we need to. When we go to the show, we can look for maybe a partially open model and build something out of it. All right, where's section 1? Oh, you want me to do the fun road wheels first? Oh, it's going to be like that? All right. I'm going to take a picture of it. And then we're going to come over here. And we're going to take a screenshot of that. And then we're going to come over here. And we're going to take a screenshot of this. And then I'm going to look at my pictures. And find them. I can feel it. I can feel like the box. And I'm not allergic to stuff. But and we'll rotate this in the correct way so we're not reading the instructions upside down. And save it there. All right, step 1. Make 6 sets of bogies. Like it's the ice cream man? No, it's the dishwasher. It's done. Yeah, so this is the build table over here. I got the build table over here and I got the paint table over there. And I'm blessed that I got enough space to do both of these things at the same time. But I got to be careful because sometimes when you get to be having too many things, well, I'm going to go against the grain of what they tell me to do. And I'm going to put the 3 halves together because that's going to need some curing time. I know this is one of the things. Oh, we got Tamiya cutters. We don't need that. I used to have a better opinion of Hasegawa than I do now. They're not bad, but their instructions, well, the kits are old. And the plastic's really brittle. Really brittle. But Marcus, you were saying you know a guy that, what was it that he doesn't like to put them together, or he does? Or he was complaining about the 3D prints didn't have anything to assemble on them. I think that's what it is. Well, some people like to spend a heck of a lot of time building them. And they even have reviews of these. They'll like review a kit and they'll like change everything. Well, they'll buy 3 kits just to make one Sherman that's accurate. And I'm all in favor of that. But when it's time to paint it, you know? All right, man. Me and math disaster. I'm fine with math as long as it's not abstract. If it's like algebra 2, if it's a quadratic formula, oh no. But math that makes sense, yeah, I'm good with math that makes sense. I'm metric friendly, all that. I don't do well with Fahrenheit, but I can convert. He likes to build models and was just remarking that 3D prints take some of the joys away. Well, it allows you to find a model of everything. You know, it used to be like, man, I sure wish somebody would make a model of X. Well, now they do. I mean, they make Japanese half tracks. When have you ever seen a model of a Japanese half track? Whatever it's called, Honu or a Hoku or whatever it is. That thing looks cool. Hey, I can have one if I have if I have a fake Japanese island. Hoki, Hoku. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, we need the back plate too. This is a weird color green. It's really dark and rich. Almost like the color that my German soldiers from Eschi were molded in. I'm not an Eschi fan of their soft plastic figures. I can get some of them to work, but some of them are just, they're awkward. Well, tomorrow we'll go to Michael's. We'll go right from work. We'll go to Michael's. We'll get some. I'll probably take one of the models with me. I'll take one of the turrets and make sure it fits in there. Get some wire and then put all the loops because they'll look so much better. That little bit of stuff that I did to those Airfix Shermans made such a huge difference. I love them. I'd buy more. I'd buy more. That's how much I like them. I mean, I don't want to pay full price for them. That would be ridiculous. But I would get more. And that's not helping me get more 3D prints from Chad, but so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to assemble this because this has a fixed position. And it's going to help stabilize the bottom. So we're going to come in here. It's the same attitude when I was doing 15 millimeter stuff. When I was doing 15 millimeter stuff, people didn't want to buy the old miniatures. Like, oh, those are old. You can't make them look good anymore. The hell you can't? Sure you can. And especially if somebody's going to like basically give them to you. Because you got some people that are always going to be chasing them, the latest and greatest. I can have a wide variety of models for war games, 3D prints, change the game. I also like 3D printed terrain. I can't remember if I have a Japanese bunker. I want to say I do, but I'm not so sure I do. And that sounds crazy. I don't have that much terrain, but I swear somewhere I have this bunker that's made of logs all the way around. It's like you took all these logs all the way around. I swear I have one. Maybe I've just stared at one online for that long that I don't know. I was just trying to remember. Oh, we're going to need we can't do that and not have the front. We're going to need the front too to stabilize it. It's piece 6. Well, what? Who cares what piece number it is? It's this one right here. There's nothing on it that looks like that. Yeah, I like a variety of stuff. You know, you can't appreciate the stuff that's really awesome if you don't build the shitty stuff. I mean, I'm not going to recommend go to get vacuform kits. Okay, that's sadistic. And then if you don't know what the heck a vacuform kit is, you don't want to know. You do not want to know what the heck that is. They sell those at the show. And, you know, honestly, the Matchbox aircraft I built was crappy enough. It wasn't that it was that crappy, it has no details in some areas. Which, if that doesn't bother you, it's not a big deal, but we're going to go about this totally different. We're going to build a frame, and because we can adjust this thing on the go, then we will put this, and I may not do this way again. Oh, yes, I will. Win-win. That is stable. Not my first rodeo. I've been a clown at rodeos before. Let me not run my mouth. What's your favorite Japanese vehicle? See, running my mouth. All right, this is nice and forgiving. I love hoggos. I think hoggos are cute as hell. So another thing I did not know, I decided to do a search. What was the most maneuverable aircraft of World War II? And apparently it's the Japanese. The Zero and the Oscar. Now, maneuverability isn't everything, but it's not bad to have a maneuverable aircraft. Well, the Zero's all right, but the Oscar's extremely undergunned. It has like 112.7 and like 130 cal or something like that, or 230 cals and 150 basically. That's extremely under underpowered from the shooting category, and then you got to go up against the Americans that are brutal in the armored category. Okay, so the front is the one that has the lip. Yep, that's the one that I had it on. Let's go ahead and we'll try this again. Am I stupid for doing the fake Japanese island? Of course I could just say it's invading Japan, and then I can use all those tanks that never left Japan. Gotta go. You'll be up early. Okay. All right, man. Have a good one. Yeah, that's a lot better than trying to put the halves on it and it falling apart and shit. Okay. I don't always follow instructions. Sometimes when you follow instructions, they're not well done. To me, instructions are put together well, but many of them are not. All right. Now we can go ahead and put 15 on the back here. And unfortunately, there is a chance that I may never finish this model. And the reason why is it lacks parts that don't merit buying a whole other model for. Like, I'm not going to buy a $10 model to just get... And I could probably cast the mantlet, but I can't cast the barrel. I can't cast the barrel out of the 76 millimeter barrel for it. All right, where's that rear plate here? Or is this a piece that's missing? Piece 15. 16, 2. $34. That's not it. Nope, looks like it's a missing piece. Are we missing 23 as well? No, we have 23. Yeah, 15's here. It's missing. But this is something I got for free from somebody that was used. So I'm not upset about it. And if this was another company that you could contact directly, I've read that you can't really contact Hasegawa. They don't want to hear from you. You could contact one of the other suppliers, but I mean, I don't want to ask for this stuff for free. And I don't want to pay $10 for it either. Okay, so we can't put that piece on it. All right, what's next? Put the halves together. Okay, cool. And then have you put the other stuff. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the bogey wheels. 12 and 13. Okay. Why is this piece, why are these different than the other ones when they're exactly the same piece? Why are some of them labeled 10 and some of them labeled 11? Are they exactly the same piece? All right, let's pop all these things out and trim them up. This is the Easy 8 suspension. What time is it anyways? Oh shit. It's late. Oh well. The other reason I do this is so I don't eat the house. To stay busy. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough that it doesn't draw attention to itself. All this is pretty much hidden. All right. 13 and 12. Now, I wonder if those are the same damn piece. They're not. The 13s are basically barren on the back. All right, let's trim all these pieces out, and then we'll assemble them. None of this is hard. It's just time consuming. And the most time consuming really is road wheels. Because not only do you have to cut them all out, but you kind of have to trim them up too. Let's just do this one side, and then we'll move them off to one place, and then we'll do the other ones. Yeah, we'll go to Michael's tomorrow. We'll go to Michael's tomorrow after work, and bring a turret with us. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bag so I don't forget it. Yeah, the plastic's fine, but these instructions and the box, they're toxic. And I don't exactly know what the problem is. I have a problem that I think that it's the cardboard is decomposing. And I mean, it doesn't smell bad other than it smells like dryness. Complete and total dryness. Yeah, this is the part that I'm doing right now that would probably drive people crazy. Because this isn't any fun to do. It's time consuming and it's hard to find, it's hard to grab the little piece. Yeah, it does have a hatch you can make split. Now this is the wheel that goes towards the outside. So you definitely want that one looking pretty because it's the one you're going to see. The one on the inside, probably don't need to be so particular about it. All right, so that's done. So we're going to move these pieces off to the side. Oh, missed one. Now the Easy 8 Shermans didn't start arriving at the front until about the time of Battle of the Bulge, maybe a little bit before, but they certainly hadn't replaced all the Shermans. As far as I can tell, that's kind of the timeline for them. And I think, if I had to guess, by the end of the war, half the Shermans were 76 millimeter armed. They still use 75 millimeter armed Shermans all the way through the end of the war. Supposedly the HE was better on them. And that's one of those things I had to look up that don't make any sense to me. Like, why would a gun that is 1 millimeter bigger, so it's 1 millimeter wider, have a significantly worse HE charge, high explosive charge. It doesn't make any sense. And the first thing I thought of is, all right, well, maybe because a 76 millimeter gun has higher muzzle velocity, I don't know how much more, 50%, I don't think it's 50% more, 25% more, I'm just guessing. I'm spitballing here, I could look it up, but I'm working on a model right now. But you got more muzzle velocity on a 76 millimeter gun, so maybe it hits the ground with much more impact, and you lose some of the detonation in the dirt. But actually what happens is, and this would have never occurred to me, is because the 76 millimeter gun is made to penetrate more armor. Its ballistic cap, it's metal that's on the cone to penetrate, and the sides of the shell are thicker. So it leaves there's less area inside the actual shell for the TNT part. So the charge is, I think it's something like 25% less TNT or something like that. It's not like half or anything like that. It's like 25% less. But that's one of those things I could never wrap my head around. Like, why is this? It's like, oh, well, the shells actually needs to be thicker. Needs to be thicker to deal with the extra pressure that's getting pushed out at a faster speed out of the barrel. And so it holds together. You know, it's just a smaller, it's a smaller area inside. I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. Because that's not going to make sense to anybody, you know. 76 millimeter gun is going to have less HE than a 75. That doesn't make sense. It's bigger by 1 millimeter. I mean, but that's one thing you encounter all the time is you talk about how the 76 millimeter high explosive isn't as good as a 75. Okay. Let's go back to the instructions that timed out. All right, so well, it's obvious which is the back side because it's got the two pegs. So they went on the back side, they want all of these. Okay. Cool. I think we can do that. I think we're going to put this here. We're not interested in them rotating. And do the same thing with the other one. I've never built one of these. Late war suspension. I don't think they look that much different. I'm a fan of torsion bar suspension myself. I think it looks the best. So if you build on top of cardboard like this, you don't have to worry about this glue getting into the cardboard. Or this sticking to the cardboard for that matter either. This is what I build my separate link tracks on. Something like that. And like I said, this may be a waste, but at least I'll know what I'm missing to complete the model. Like that piece on the back, I didn't realize I was missing it. Now, I could do without it. I could put something back there like you wouldn't be able to see what it is, but you kind of need the mantlet and the turret and the barrel. Kind of a given. All right, we're halfway done with this. I was reading an article that said you could use another product that wasn't this cement that would work the same. I forget what it was. Something like airbrush thinner or something like that. Airbrush cleaner or something like that from Tamiya. And it's a lot less expensive. I said, yeah, but it doesn't come with a cool brush. I'm like, I'm sorry. If I'm splurging on this, it's not much of a splurge. This stuff lasts a long time. I can't be frugal about everything. I bet it smells different. I bet it doesn't smell the same. All right. What's next, other than put the suspension pieces on there? Yep, that's exactly what happens next. All right. Well, I'm actually going to put the front and the back, the sprocket and the idler wheel on first. Sprocket is these two pieces? Yep. American German. I don't know if it's all American tanks, but certainly all German tanks. Pretty sure it's all German tanks. Sprockets to the front. British and Russians, sprockets to the rear. Guess it. When you have the sprockets to the rear, you don't need a differential running across the entire tank. Nerdy mechanic shit. Yeah, we're going to probably have to stop after this. How long have I been on here? A couple hours. Yeah. Well, I wish I would have found that wire. At this point, I need to move on. I did a really good job of hiding it. I did a really good job of hiding it. Had I found it, I would have put the belt loops on those loops on that. I keep wanting to call them belt loops. Put the loops on the Shermans and primed them tonight. Oh well. It's better not to have any plans. Can't go sideways then. so this should be able to fit like this. And then this goes like that, right? Yep. All right. All right, now we put all the running gear on here. Same thing on this side. That rod that holds this, could it be any shorter? I mean, it's a pretty darn short rod. All right, so we know we're missing one piece on the back there. And we may be missing more pieces than that. Let's go ahead and cut the hole out and place it on top. And that way you can get rid of this big sprue. Yeah, it's a monster. It's a little on the larger side. I mean, not that much bigger. Not bad for free. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully. See ya. Bye-bye.